Welcome back to the Rogue Wave podcast. Thrilled to welcome director and actor Alex Suarez. Alex, how you doing?
Doing great. How about you guys?
Doing pretty good, actually. Thanksgiving was good. Everything, holidays was good for you?
Oh yeah, wonderful. I had a Friendsgiving. Family was all working, so I had a great time though. Made a lamb. It was a good lamb.
Wow. All
Oh
right.
man, yeah,
I like
sounds
that.
good.
I want to be invited to your Friendsgiving next
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Next year, guys. Next year.
Lamb is always better than dry turkey.
So you are the director and star of a new psychological thriller. It's called Mantra. Tell folks out there, give the elevator pitch and why people should race to see the film.
So it's a crazy fun film about a young man who's being haunted by visions of his recently murdered brother, and he seeks out help, and he seeks out help from an unorthodox psychologist whose methods kind of twist his world even further. And it's a really fun psychological thriller with a lot of twists and turns and methods, and kind of everyone's playing their own game, and you don't really know where to look or what's going to happen next. So it's a fun little piece.
Did you co-write it as well, or is it?
did.
Yeah, you
I
did.
did,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
That's,
Yeah, me and my
so
writing partner Dan Franklin, we
Mhm.
wrote it, directed it, and starred in it together. It was kind of a co-op mission.
Oh, fantastic. Now, how did the genesis of the film start?
So it initially started with us just kind of exploring characters that we really wanted to play, really wanted to give a kind of a fair shake at, and we started kind of crafting this story of these two characters, and we just kind of unknowingly started the ball rolling and created this feature film of it all just started with a relationship. I mean, that's
Mhm.
kind of the way these things always start, is the relationship between these two characters, and we really wanted to explore it more. And we were fortunate enough to have a really awesome dedicated fan base that we were able to kickstart to, and we ended up raising the initial 50 grand to start the movie, and then we all kind of just went from there.
Talk to me about the crowdfunding experience. So Hassan and I are both comic book professionals. We do comics and graphic novels. So kickstarting, you know, comics, it just goes hand in hand. How is it doing a film, like raising, money for the film? I mean, I'm assuming it's just as stressful as doing it for a graphic novel.
Incredibly stressful, and you guys know, I mean, it's difficult to produce content without funding in any medium,
Yeah.
and so time is money, and it's just dedication that you guys have to put to your craft. And so sometimes it can be hard because people don't know what they're going to get yet,
Yeah.
and it's hard to convince people to invest in something that doesn't really yet exist, not really
Doesn't
much.
exist. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a prototype. Like if I have a product that I have a
Sure.
prototype for, I can
Hmm.
show people, hey, look, you press this button and a treat pops out. Well, great, I want that treat. I'll press the button. I'll buy the product. But when you have a feature film, or when you have a comic or something like that, you're really asking people to invest in you as a creative.
Hmm.
And so, we made a trailer just by ourselves, just kind of a self-funded trailer to give the essence of what that's going to be like. And people really kind of, I guess, were drawn to it, and were willing to commit their funds to it, which we are eternally grateful for. But yes, from day one, it was an extremely stressful experience trying to get that funds down, and it went down to the wire too. We almost didn't make it. We think we were at like 42,000 on our last day, with
Wow.
like 8 grand left to go, and we don't get any money if we don't secure that last 8 grand. And
Yeah.
we really pushed, and we managed to get it through a couple of really generous funders.
Wow. So, it's funny because with the comic book, that was the next thing. With the comic book, the requirement, it's not a requirement, but if you want a successful campaign, you got to show 5 pages. You got to show something. So you were able to do the trailer. What were the
Mhm.
rewards like for the people? Did they get to, the film delivered to their inbox? Like, I'm absolutely curious on just the rights management aspect, because once you let it out to people, isn't it? It's kind of out there, right?
It's kind of out there, yeah. So we were very selective with the rewards that we got, because we wanted to find a fine balance of giving people what they deserved and what they
Hmm.
should get, with also maintaining the kind of integrity of the project, and also not spending. We don't want to spend a generous portion of the Kickstarter funds in giving back rewards, because that's literally just taking away from what they were giving you. So we took away anything that we would have to really mail out to people. We're
Sure.
fortunate that everything can be digital, so we didn't have to spend money on postage or anything like that,
Hmm.
because again, it's like
Right.
the more money we have to spend back, the less product they're going to get. as a movie. So we gave a lot of behind the scenes. We gave invitations to the initial kind of red carpet screening of it, invitations to come to the set and just be a part of it, be extras in the movie, even have small little bit parts in it if you gave a certain amount. For these kind of roles that we had also kind of written in there to be open to whoever was going to be able to fill those slots. So we almost wrote in a couple of opportunities for Kickstarter backers to be in the film.
Okay, that's cool.
In advance, yeah.
I don't want to give away a spoiler. I know an exact scene you could have put them in.
Yeah.
Yes, and they are in that scene that you were thinking about.
Okay. All right, that's amazing. That's amazing. And that's got to be really cool. I mean, this has to be, talk to me as a creator and a filmmaker. It took me a while to figure out the crowdfunding scene, not necessarily like the nuts and bolts of it. There was that, but just the idea of this kind of ultimate fan participation. I mean, this is something relatively new. Talk to me about the bigger picture in your mind about utilizing fans to be able to create something.
I just think fans are ultimately the grounding point of everything in a way when you think about it, because anything you do in the future is also going to be kind of building on top of that fan base that you already have that has been faithful to you from that beginning. And so, I mean, kind of the next steps because we're not done. We're still making stuff and pumping things out, and just kind of keeping that fandom in mind for what they've already done for us, and trying to continuously produce content to keep everyone engaged and to keep everyone committed to you as a creative. I think that's also really important moving forward.
How did you round out the cast?
So we did a proper casting. We had a lot of people submit to the project, and we auditioned to quite a few. We also reached out to some very talented people that we already knew. A good friend of mine, Matthew Trejo, who was in Hamilton for a long time.
Cool.
He plays Detective Mendoza in the movie. And the gentleman who plays my brother, this is a really great story. The guy who plays my brother, who plays Nathan in the film, his name is Drake Roger. His audition tape came in, and we were really struggling to find who was going to play this part. He had to be emotionally in tune.
Yeah.
He also had to kind of look similar to me. It was very difficult to find someone. And this guy comes in. He's 6'3", 6'4", way taller than I am, but we look like we could,
Sure.
we look like we could have pulled it off. But man, his tape was excellent, and there was just this star quality about him. We brought him into the cast, and it was the best decision we ever made. And now, I cut together all of his scenes, sent it out, said, hey, pitch whatever you want to pitch to his agent for, send this guy out for everything. And he is now starring in the Winchesters as John Winchester on the CW.
That's right.
And it was just been so amazing to be able to be a part of recognizing that talent kind of at the beginning and saying, man, this guy has a quality about him, and being fortunate enough that he worked with us, and now he's killing it on the Winchesters. And it's just it's great to see.
Yeah, that's a neat thing too. I think there's a lot of times when and we like to use the term like level up. It's funny when people kind of like level up, and we all have a starting point. We all have something that we get into, and then you're building connections, but you're really building friendships and relationships. And when those relationships kind of take off, it kind of elevates everyone involved. So it's fantastic to see that. The movie itself now, it's like I'm trying to tailor my questions, but I don't want to give anything away. That's the problem, right? Like what could you tell about the movie?
Yeah.
That I don't want to spoil it. Like I think it's one of those movies where you have to be paying attention, because at the end, it all kind of comes full circle. There's a twist. There's all kind of stuff. And I think, how would you describe this to folks beyond the elevator pitch? They want to know more, but without giving away too much. Help me out. Help me help you.
Yeah, here's the thing. Because it is difficult, but here's the thing. All of this is the whole first and middle of the second act. All of it is building up to this moment where Evan, the main character, takes this concoction, this hallucinogenic, so to speak, and has his first trip. Yeah. And the dark world that we explored within that trip, I think, is just like, that's just the moneymaker right there. So there's a really great, initial couple of scenes in that where Evan is just seeing all kinds of things, and you don't know what's real and what's not. And
Yeah.
this is where it's totally great to explore. Like, Evan's getting tortured, he's getting scrutinized, he's getting yelled at, he's seeing all these vivid, horrifying images that he doesn't really understand. But you don't really know what's real and what's not. You don't know what's true and what's fallacy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just and that's what I think the draw is like the vivid imagery of the hallucinations that he has. We have jump scares, we have bloody bathtubs, we have carvings into chests, we have disturbing mantras, pun intended. We have everything in between, and it's definitely worth a night watch with the lights off and some of your friends around a table for sure.
Yeah, I definitely that was to me when I was watching it, the big question mark is it's an unreliable narrator, and we know this right from the beginning. In the main character, and the question kept coming up. I'm like, I don't know if all this is actually happening, and I think by the end, you do get to the twist, and you're like, or there's actually several twists, and part of you is like, oh, I was right. Nope, I was wrong. Oh, nope, I was right. And I, what kind of other movies inspired you, or other stories inspired this kind of twist and turn?
Just a plethora of psychological thrillers that we would watch and enjoy. I really enjoyed Jordan Peele's work kind of leading up to this, and definitely was drawing a lot of inspiration from a lot of the things that he was doing. And I just kept some of his imagery kind of in my mind when I was kind of crafting this. And there's a lot of nods to different things. There's a running motif in the film about drinking. Anytime that Evan has a glass in his hand, and anytime, and that a lot of those moments were very Quentin Tarantino inspired.
Sure.
Django Unchained, when the guy's filling the beer and tapping on the glass, and then the opening of the movie is a glass being cleaned and things being poured, and there's been a lot of inspiration from obviously different directors and different kinds of horrors and things like that, for sure. Yeah.
No, very cool. All right, what's next for the film, and what's next for you?
Next to the film is currently on Amazon, so you are able to stream it on Amazon. I believe maybe also Apple TV. It is going to be hitting some other platforms coming up soon. I'm still waiting on I'm kind of along for the ride at this point of where this thing is going to be hitting at different places. So, but right now you can absolutely rent it on Amazon. And then we do have a couple of other projects in the works that we will be announcing very, very soon.
Very cool. Where can everyone find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Real Alex Suarez, and that's my main social hub, and Facebook as well.
Fantastic. Alex, thank you so much for joining us. Go check out Mantra on Amazon. You can rent it now, just as he mentioned. When we come back, Hassan and I dive into Andor. Hi guys, Mike Dolce here from the Rogue Wav podcast. If you like this video, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It really helps us out. Leave a comment, let us know what you'd like to see in future episodes, and tune in every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern for a brand new episode of the Rogue Wav podcast.